guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to do a story time. I was recently telling a coworker about an incident that had happened to me and they were just blown away. So as you read by the title, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was like such a traumatic experience in my life. And I say that because it was kind of like an ongoing situation. So this happened back in like 2014. I remember it because I was not pregnant with my daughter yet. And as I tell you guys throughout the story of how the case had to keep getting postponed, I was pregnant with my daughter at that time. So basically this incident happened. I was one day on my way to work. On my way to the gym. It was the weekend. I don't really remember the day of the week, but it was the weekend. And I remember I was on my way to the gym. And I'm like, okay, you know how you get excited. You can't wait to go to the freaking gym. You know, trying to get yourself amped up. So where I lived at that time, I had to actually get on the highway in order to get to the Planet Fitness. So as I'm driving, if you guys are really familiar, if you live in Baltimore, 695, going towards Pulaski Highway type of thing, you know that it's 3 lanes when you get on this highway, and a lot of traffic comes really once you pass a certain point. Traffic, people who are trying to merge on the highway can be a lot, even on weekends sometimes. But this particular weekend, I'm driving, I'm in the 3rd lane, meaning, you know how there's 3 lanes, which I like to say all the time, the fast lane, the medium type of speed lane, and then you have the slow lane. Slow lane is basically, you guys know this, for if you are trying to get off the highway or you just really don't want to go really fast. But a lot of people try to avoid the slow lane because a lot of people are merging onto the highway. Cool. Super easy. You learn this in driving school, right? So I'm driving, and before I get to a lane, before I get to an exit that I'm about to pass, because my exit was after this exit, so I'm gonna name this exit A. I'm trying to get to B. So before I'm about to pass A, I see a guy on his motorcycle with a female as well. They're driving. I always try to be aware of my surroundings at all times because that's just how I am. I'm like a paranoid type of person. And plus, I've been in accidents where it wasn't my fault, and then it's like I didn't want to go through that situation. This was before I even got my truck, so I had already been in an accident before, and when I had my Pontiac, and I was just not trying to get there. So I'm about to pass A exit, and I guess the motorcycle, he assumed that I was supposed to wait for him to get on the highway. Mind you, how can I put this? Yeah, I can use this. So this is the motorcycle, I'm the booklet. So let's do it like this. So I'm already like right here. The motorcycle is right here. Mind you, I'm already about to pass the exit where you merge to get on. And I guess the motorcycle didn't like that I just passed him. I don't know what the situation was, what type of feelings that he had. So as I'm literally about to get off in exit B, I noticed from my left rear side mirror that he's speeding, mind you, on a freaking motorcycle. He's speeding with someone on it, mind you. He's literally on the white line because that's how close I could see him on my rear view mirror. So the next thing you know, I hear hollering and shouting. I'm, mind you, not even going fast because I'm trying to get off. Because if you are familiar with this highway, like this exit is really curvy. If you go so fast, you can literally go over like an embankment or something. So you always try to like lower your speed. And I just remember him cussing, calling me the N-word, just going off, belligerent, mind you. It was like around this time, I believe it was around this time where we had that heat wave in like the September, October month. And I had my window down and he was calling me the N-word. He was N this and that, just going off. And then next thing you know, I'm about to get off. I'm just like, let me just avoid this. I don't have time for this ish today. So as I'm getting from the 3rd lane onto the exit, meaning 4th lane, to go around this little thing, he comes in front of me. mind you, on a motorcycle, comes in front of me, slows his motorcycle down. And it doesn't matter the speed that you are going. If someone stops deliberately in front of you, even if you have that certain amount of time. So thank gosh, my husband always told me keep a distance from people. But even if a person is trying to cut you off, it still can just throw you for one. So I'm just like, what in the hell is this person doing? Mind you, he has a whole female on his motorcycle. He had a Harley Davidson. And so I'm like, what are you doing? Those bikes are expensive as hell, one. Two, you are crazy. So he literally stopped. So he's doing like the push. You know how people hit their brake and they go like this and that. So thank gosh, the exit was really big enough so I go around him. So I'm getting off, and as I try to go around him, my car ends up tapping him. So I'm like, great. Now it's a freaking accident, even though it didn't even hit him. But I can tell the type of individual this person is. So, mind you, I'm on an exit. So I'm like, the best thing to do is get off and pull over to the side. So, as soon as I'm pulled over, he comes, parks in front of me, starts cussing me out again, calling me the N-word, calling me be this, be that, all this. Mind you, my windows are up. So I'm like, let me call my husband, tell him what's going on, because I'm by myself and you're a whole man. I'm not about to fight you. It's not even worth it, even though I could probably go toe to toe with you because I have fought many people in my life, but I'm not even about to go down this route with you because one, you're clearly a racist. Two, you're clearly trying to get over on someone just to get some money, and you're not getting any from me. We will fight. So next thing you know, my husband says call the police because he could hear him. He was like about to get in. He was getting in his car to come meet me because he could tell how scared I was, because it was like, one, you did all this to cause this, and now you want to say that I tried to drive off from the accident. No, the smart thing to do is to move aside so that other drivers getting off this exit can get off and not hold it off, especially if the accident isn't severe. You can move your little funky ass bike over so that drivers can get off. So when the police come, you know, of course, I'm in a situation where I'm a black female. This is a white man. He's on a motorcycle. It's bad enough that drivers get the short end of the stick when it comes to motorcycles. So it's like, okay, this is the type of situation I'm in. Then the police is just like, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And mind you, I'm just trying to keep my cool because I was just like so on edge, because even when I was on the 911 call, I kept telling the 911 lady, like, do you hear him? Do you hear him? He's banging on my window. He's calling me a nigger. He's just saying like blatant words that are just very disrespectful. I've done nothing to this man. This man literally just created this entire situation, and he has a female on the back of his freaking bike. Like, me as a mother, even if I have my children in the car, I'm not doing no shit like that. So I'm just like, wow. I'm in a situation that here I am. What can I do? So, of course, the police, they were like, there was two police officers. The one police officer, he was very ignorant. And I'm not the type of people, I don't bunch all police officers together. This is even before we were going down the line of police officers, you know, shooting unarmed black men or unarmed people in general. You know, this was way before this even occurred. And it was like, I always had high respect for police officers because, you know, I wanted to be a detective at one point in time. And plus, you guys know, my degree is in forensics, so I always had a love of the criminal justice world. But you will come across individuals who take their job way over the line, and my brother-in-law is actually a cop. So it's just, you know, it just puts you in a funky situation. So the nice cop, he said, ma'am, you know, if this is, you know, what you're saying has happened, call your insurance, tell your insurance what happened, go to court. That's what he told me. He was very nice, and you know, he could tell how frightened I was. I was crying. You know, I was basically scared for my life because, like, if you guys were there, and when I get to this part, like, if you guys were there, and how, like, I had to, like, think about everything in my life. Like, you know, I have always been the type of individual to not think before I react. So before I had children, that was always me. And, you know, I have never told a story how getting a job my senior year, even when I had no money, you know, me and my grandmother were struggling, you know, that changed my outlook on being an adult. You know, I was finally making real money. So after that, you know, meeting my husband and, you know, things are going really great in my life from the traumatic childhood that I had and, you know, just everything that I had to deal as a young individual. It was like, wow, my life is finally coming together. Even after all the shit that I've been through, I never lost my faith. And, you know, I said, Steph, you have a child, you know, you're married, you know, you have a great job, you know, don't let this person bring you out of character because he wants to act like an asshole to you. So after that, I had to call my insurance and I had to basically give my statement. I had to tell the story, you know, they had to record it. Basically, we were going to go to court. My car wasn't even damaged because that's how, like, when I say I went, it was like that. That's the type of hit that happened. So, like, I think I wanted to say about a month later. No, before we even went to court, you know how the insurance is, they try to figure out who was at fault. So that's basically what happened. They did an investigation. So they said, you know, the people have up to 3 years where they can basically take you to court. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I remember like a month later, I got served with papers. Found out that these people were trying to sue me for $10,000. Sis, you didn't even fall off the fucking bike, but you want to sue someone for $10,000? When I say I was so irritated, I said, bitch, you are not getting shit from me. Like, you were going to find out who you are really fucking with. So, you know, I just remember my lawyer, she was so nice. I really wish I have to go through my emails to this day. I just still thank this woman. So my grandmother went with me. That's how tight me and my grandmother was. My grandmother was just like, what? Like, these people are trying to sue you for what? So we go to court. We're the last people to go because, of course, you know, it's like a case. Do you know these people had the nerve to talk about they had witnesses? I'm like, there was no witnesses. There was no individuals that were there at all. But okay, carry on. You know, you want to lie now, but that's fine. That's cool. I always got my face. So they go first. They get on the stand before me, of course. And their stories did not match the boyfriend and the girlfriend. Her story more so correlated to my story. And I'm like, you're a dummy, because if you were trying to scam someone, why are your stories not the same? Then homegirl, she went to therapy, didn't even really go to therapy. Thank God for honest people. The lady said she'd come late to therapy, she would leave in and out, go out, smoke cigarettes. She said, you know, she never took therapy serious. I said, oh, this is really, so I'm just sitting there like, okay. So then I get on the stand. Mind you, I have background of being on the stand because when I was in my undergrad, you know, we actually had a class that was mainly for testifying. So I was already trained, because if I wanted to enter the route of being a crime scene technician, I would potentially, or a detective or police officer, I would potentially be on the stand when it is time for trial. So I just remember answering the questions, and they asked me about my life, you know, what I do, where I work. And, you know, I basically told them, being honest, you know, my story never changed. And then they had the judge, he wanted me to draw out the highway, because the way that their lawyer were trying to make it seem as if it was just 3 lanes and I got into the 3rd lane and hit them. But that's not how it happened. They were merging, which means they have to yield to the people already on the highway. We don't yield to them. That is, unless you are trying, if you were trying to get out of off the highway on a double stand, meaning you're getting off and people are getting on behind you. That was not the case. This was just a direct merge onto the lane, which there was a yield sign. But you know, when people are trying to scam, they don't think about all these things. So I just remember sitting there like, you did it. So the judge, You know, he basically found her boyfriend at fault because he said if he would have never, this would have never happened if he wouldn't have had road rage towards me, which he didn't even understand why he had road rage, because it was like I had already passed him on the highway, which he was trying to merge on, and he took it upon himself to get off after me and cut me off, which he could have done because he has a motorcycle. I'm not a motorcycle, I'm a freaking vehicle. I can't do these things. But he ended up having to pay her, and I think my insurance just covered for what it was, but I think my insurance just covered like my costs. But the judge did say, you know, he felt like she deserved something because she was on the back of the bike, which, because she wasn't the driver. And I was just like, she don't deserve shit, but carry on. And I was really mad about that because, oh, and another thing is they kept postponing this trial. It took 3 years for us to even, two and a half years for us to even go to court because they kept postponing it on their end. Me, I never postponed it because my story never changed. I was always honest and open about what happened. And this is the thing, if I have done something wrong, I can admit it. Like, I admit it. Yeah, I did end up hitting his vehicle, but this is the chain reaction of how it happened. That I can admit to, but I'm not gonna admit that I deliberately hit this person because they got off the highway. They got on the highway after me. What purpose does that serve for me? That doesn't serve any purpose for me, right? Makes no sense. But you know, I was really bummed out about it because even before we went to court, you know, I got a judgment on my credit report, and I was just like, the freak, we didn't even go to court yet. But I ended up getting it removed, thank gosh, because I won. But I was just really upset about it. You know, I was really upset, but I said, you know what? Good things prevail. So that goes to show you, if you are good, you stay true to your word.